Hello, everybody watching this video. My name is Nicole Jones-Conda, and I'm the director of EMCC World Partners. And I am joined by some friends in Romania today, Craiova specifically. So I would encourage them to introduce themselves. Teo?
Hello, my name is Teodora Dobre. I'm from Romania, from Craiova, specifically, as Nicole stated. I have been working here with teenagers ever since I moved here, because I'm not originally, or I wasn't born and raised here. And there are almost 5 years now, I think, since I've started working with teenagers in the Heroes Project. I have a family here. The reason that I got to move here. I've been living here with my husband for 5 years, and we have a daughter that is 3 years old. And I'm a social worker by profession and really enjoying what I'm doing.
Awesome. Iazmin, feel free.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Iazmin Cumpănașu. I'm from Craiova. I'm working with Heroes for almost 4 years. I came here because Teo asked me to, and I'm not regretting it. It is an unique experience working with teenagers, and I hope to continue to do it.
Awesome. So for those of you watching, you have supported the story of what God has been doing in Craiova, specifically over the last number of years, whether that was through initial giving with Corey and Aaron Sickstrom, or in the last 2 years as we've been supporting the work of Teo, Iazmin, and others on their team in terms of working with Heroes in 360. And so today is just an opportunity for us to celebrate what has happened in the last 2 years, even amidst a global pandemic, and just allow you to get to know Teo and Iazmin as well as we move forward in relationship with both of them, and also as we release them into new roles that they are pursuing in their lives. So thank you both for being here. For those watching, they have had various degrees of connection with the story of what's happening in Craiova, in Romania, particularly with teenagers. So I think, as we think over the last 2 years, how have both of you seen God sort of uniquely resourcing both of you to serve in this way, and particularly as we've just gone through a pandemic?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say this is the first thing that comes into my mind, thinking of some unique situation. For this area, I think it's probably not that common for people to start volunteering, and not for our generation or for the ones that are a little bit older than us. So we've been seeing God working in people and challenging their hearts to join what we were doing. So I think that's a unique thing, because we've had a lot of struggles financially. So we weren't able to pay a lot of people to do the work we were doing. But there were lots of people who willingly and joyfully gave their time and energy into what we were doing. And I think if we start counting those people, there are over 20 now that have been with us, especially in the last 2 years. And yeah, it's that's one of the things that I think God took really good care of. And another one that comes to my mind, and then I will allow Iazmin to complete with other ideas, is the optimism, in a way, that we had like a team. There have been many struggles, and in a previous discussion I've mentioned, like, we had problems with parents that didn't understand that some of us were part of churches, members in some Protestant churches, and it was an issue for the parents. So we've had issues in schools because of that, because of our faith. And then there were the money issues there. But every time, and when I look back at the last 2 years, I can see clearly that God was there taking care of our hearts in the core team, to say, so me, Yasmin, and Irina mainly. So we were able to keep our hopes up and to be optimistic despite everything, and just trusting that God will take care and he will provide, and he did. He did. So those are two of the things that come into my mind. I don't know if you want to add something, Yasmin.
Yeah, I have also two things in my head. First of all, like Teo said, we had a lot of struggles, and instead people leaving this community, this heroes thing, there was God bringing people to this community, volunteers, teenagers, people who were from the outside and helped us. And the second thing, it's money from you guys from Canada. Especially during the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs and stuff because, you know, it was a global pandemic, but we let heroes to continue, even if it was mostly online. So it was hard for teenagers to keep the communications online, but that's how God worked in these 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I think it's just good to hear from both of you that sense of perseverance that you both had along with Irina to carry this through. And not only perseverance, but like you said, a sense of optimism. So I think my next question is, what have you learned over the last 2 years from sort of the unique way Heroes in 360 is serving the community? Right, both in schools and out of school, and you're sort of a unique expression on your own. I know the last time we talked, Teo had talked about the challenges that have been associated with that, but I wonder if you guys could share some of the learnings you've had from kind of serving this unique ministry that fills kind of a particular gap, and would invite your comments.
Mm-hmm. I think, and I'm sure, I'm even more sure in a way, or more certain in a way than previously, that God was allowing us to create something new, or to do something new, new for churches, new for NGOs or other social entities that were doing something in the community. And one of the images that I have in mind, and I think we have learned that while doing it, is that we somehow were able to dig, I don't know if, to dig some kind, I don't know if the words is, if the substantive is digs, I don't know. Mm-hmm. You imagine those things where the water flows through. So we were able to dig those. And right. To prepare, like, that's the image in my mind, and to prepare those things for God, for churches, for other communities, or for other good things that are out there, to be able to go through easily in teenagers' minds and hearts. So that's one of the things that I think we've learned about ourselves and about the work that we were and we are doing here. And another thing that was really important for us, and it was interesting how God brought us together, like in the core team, and then how we challenged the volunteers also to have the same mindset. It was how to invest relational in the teenagers, and not just provide and offer an interesting subject and just have interesting conversation in school. But we usually, and it was one of the things that we kept reminding to ourselves and to each other, like, focus on relationship. That's the goal. That's the things that we want to get out of this. If there is something we want to get out of this, like something we are gaining in that material way, but it's about relationships, and it has been about relationships. And it was interesting, and for me personally, it was an awesome experience to be able to do that in a world where people are being focused on just providing things or giving stuff, or yeah, having great lectures or classes or whatever, interesting videos, but everybody forgets about the relationship part and how important is that. And I'm I'm thankful that we were able to practically learn how to be in relationships with these teenagers. And it's a huge thing that we've learned. We had it somehow, God has placed it on our hearts previously. It was there, but it was awesome to be able to build on that.
Mhm.
One thing that I really learned about this 360 Heroes project is that teenagers are so important. Before I got into Heroes thing, I was like, yeah, some of them maybe, but working with them just opened my eyes and made me think that they're so important. And the thing I really learned about is we invested a lot in them. So they're not only the only one who like grow up in this process. We also grew up, me, Teo, Irina, and the volunteers, because we were so vulnerable with them, and we opened like ourselves a lot of I mean, not a lot of, but there are a lot of some people who are not willing to open themselves open with teenagers. So it meant a lot for them, like seeing us in the weakest or the happiest moment. So
Mhm.
yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'm hearing from both of you the just the profound impact of being in relationship and walking alongside someone has. For us in the EMCC, we have some of these statements called Way of Jesus statements, and one of them is, I am helping someone and someone is helping me to be a growing follower of Jesus. And so I hear that in what you're sharing, in that you obviously had a heart and were investing in youth, but they also were pouring back into you, and you were pouring back into each other. And so that's just sort of a beautiful picture of what discipleship looks like. And Teo, just to highlight your point, and I think that that's great for our supporting churches to know that their investment over the last 2 years in the work that you're doing was this pioneering work, to set up whatever God has next, and to create a pathway that's forged not just by knowledge or program, but by relational investment, which I think is fantastic. Iazmin, you had just shared how important it is to invest in youth. So as a result of spending time with so many teenagers, what makes you both hopeful about this next generation as you spent time with them?
I want to start with a short story. Like, just yesterday evening, I was walking in the city center with my husband and my daughter, and we bumped into a few of our two of our former teenagers. They are already in college, like they're that big now, grown ups. And me personally, I spent a little time with them talking. And one of the girls said to me, like, first with nostalgia, like, oh, I really miss our context in 316 Heroes and our Saturdays. And then during the conversation, we said something about how important it is to know that you have value as a person, for example. And this girl said, yeah, I remember when I've learned that because of Heroes and 360, and how important it was for me to hear that, and how powerful was that someone else was telling me you are important, because all of my childhood I was hearing the other things, like the negative stuff, and I was raised in a family that would not appreciate me or would not even see me at times. And that right there was, it was just spontaneous. We weren't like planning on meeting or planning on having a conversation, but it was a great reminder for me, seeing how a young adult now is still being impacted by some powerful words that were spoken in our context because of Heroes and the 360 activities and meetings. And that gives me a lot of hope for this girl in particular, but not only for her, for the ones that she will be meeting in this life for her family and for her future kids maybe sometime, because her mindset is totally different than her parents because she was with us. And then going further away from one particular person, I'm pretty sure, even though we don't have all of those stories, and we probably will never know about everyone that was part of it, that they for sure have a different perspective on life. They're more encouraged into going further with their future uncertainties, because they will still be there, but they have like self-confidence and they know that they are worthy, and they have been in relationships with healthy adults. Like, I'm not bragging, we are still learning and growing ourselves, but sometimes it was a huge difference between us as adults and then their parents or teachers or whatever adults were around them. And I'm hopeful they will incorporate all of those things that they've heard and they've talked about, and all of the questions they had answered, and some of them still not answered, but there was something there, someone there listening, and they will incorporate all of that in their futures. And they for sure will be different parents, different leaders, different workers in their doing their jobs, just because they interacted with us. Because as Iazmin said, we can say that with certainty because we have seen how it changed us. It was not only about them and their lives and their needs, it was also like the heroes curriculum, and then the interactions with people also helped us a lot, and we grew a lot during these years. Yeah, so that's how hopeful I see the future in the teenagers.
Iazmin, comments from you?
Yeah, a few years ago at some heroes event, there was some teenagers who told me, and then I told Teo and Irina, hey, Iazmin, do you know the difference between you guys from heroes and some teachers? We are not trying to avoid you on street when we see you, or coffee shops and stuff, because they are trying to avoid teachers. And when they see us, they are running and hugging us, and I've done that, I've said that, I've met, and they are so excited to see us. And one thing I'm really grateful for this experience is that there are some nights or some days who some teenagers from heroes, they are not still part of it because they grow up and they are now at high school or maybe at college. They are texting or calling me, hey, Iazmin, do you remember when you told me that lesson from heroes? Because I'm trying to explain to my friends right now and I forgot some part. And I was like, so yeah, they really hear that part, or they really hear that story or lesson. So yeah, we've seen a lot of change in them, especially for some of them who had some problems at home and maybe with their friends, or they were like shy and not having any friends. So we see them now laughing in some large context with friends, and yeah, it's one thing I'm grateful for.
Absolutely. And they're sharing, right? They're just sharing it, after they've learned it, or, it's in their head now, they're sharing it with others. I think that's a really
that's the most interesting part.
Yeah, that got me. Yeah, I remember another thing, like some of them are sharing information and topics and different things that we've been discussing or they've heard in the context, and others are just promoting like Heroes in 360 to their friends in high school. For example, we've had this meeting with a group that we've been following the Heroes program during the summer last year, and we've had a reunion, so to speak, at the beginning of this summer. And one of the girls was with 3 or 4 of her classmates. She was in high school. He's in high school now. And he was like, yeah, I've been telling my friends about you and 360 and what we are doing there and how it changed me. But I don't have the words to describe everything. So now if you're here, please do share with them. But it was just amazing to hear and to see that they are talking about this. And I think they will still be talking about this. And I'm pretty sure that when they will be like in their 20s and then 30s, they will remember things, they will talk about it, they will promote it, they will probably try and find that for their teenager kids someday. Who knows? We will be hearing from them, and yeah, somehow they will still be talking about this, as we will also.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I've heard, the things that you've learned, the things that you're hopeful for, particularly as you're interacting with the next generation. I think my next question is, as we consider, for our EMCC churches, kind of the financial investment and practical investment in Heroes is closed for now. So I would love to hear from both of you. What are you celebrating about the work of Heroes, and as you both consider your own journeys, what are things that you're celebrating?
I'm certainly celebrating the community. I've said this in the past. I'm saying it, I will be saying it. Heroes 360, it was the first, the most real community I personally found here. And I celebrate that. And more than personally, I celebrate it because I was saying it earlier. Teenagers are talking about this. They met in high school and they were part of a program, not in the same period. And they were like, oh, Heroes, yeah, I know Heroes. And they're connecting somehow through it. And I'm pretty sure they will keep connect through it in college, and then maybe in their workplaces if they remain here locally, or who knows, maybe in other parts of the country or the world, because it's a small world afterwards. And yeah, this is my biggest reason of celebration. I'm seeing community. I have experienced and experiencing community. I personally feel as being part of something bigger. Sometimes when I think about it, because we will not know all of the impact and implication, I get a feeling that it's even bigger than I can imagine, and it will grow. Because I've used the image with digging and letting God and other good influences pour into that. But we can also use the image of the seed that has been planted. Mm-hmm. So because of that, when you plant a seed, you can take out of it or get out of it a really huge tree, or maybe more trees, who knows. So yeah, that's my number one reason for celebration. And I'll be thinking of something else, but that's just what's in my mind now.
Absolutely. Iazmin, what are you celebrating?
This community is one of the fewest communities in Craiova, at least, who are really investing in teenagers. We do really care about them, and we are trying to help them, and even in schools with that personal development. And we did that for free. We didn't ask them for money. I do that if you give me money. And I don't know, the impact we had on them and the impact this program had with teenagers in Craiova. And even now, seeing them spending time together, like seeing them how shy were some of them at 360 events or Heroes events, and they didn't know each other, some of them, and now they are spending time together. And I'm seeing them outside, and it's like, how did you two? Because of you and Heroes and blah blah. And I was like, so yeah, I'm grateful for that, and Teo and Irina are also grateful for that, because somehow God put us in this town and give us this ability to connect with people and invest in teenagers.
Absolutely. I'm grateful to hear that from both of you. Before we conclude and wrap up, I would just give you the open floor. I've had the privilege of connecting with you on a more regular basis, but I'm wondering if you had any words you wanted to share with some of our EMCC churches who have supported this work over the last 2 years.
We do feel a lot of gratitude because many of you there have been personally, and then as churches, as communities, have supported our work here without even knowing us, but trusting that God was doing something beyond, and was in control of all this. So we are really grateful. Yasmin said it earlier, even and mostly during a pandemic, when most of the people lost their job and their income. We are really grateful that we were able to continue investing in different creative ways in the teenagers here and continue to be present in the community one way or another. And we were able to do so because of the support from churches, EMCC, and everyone there in Canada. We are grateful. And another thing that I would, is just as a, I don't know how to call it, challenge or something, continue to invest in people, in missions, in programs, as you did in ours. Even though you are not here, you don't personally know the people here, continue to pray for those kind of opportunities, and then trust that God is working and he's really doing things through people, because sometimes that's life-changing for someone in another part of the world, in another country altogether. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yasmin.
I ask myself several times, how did some people from Canada and churches are supporting some people they don't even know? How can they give money or prayers or stuff even if they're not here with us? Because Heroes program, it's something also new for me because I came 4 years ago, and then I saw how God worked in this. So the prayers and from the support you guys from Canada gave us, money and stuff from the kids, for teenagers, for salaries. Every single month we had money to buy them stuff and or creating events for them. And I was like, yeah. So me and Teo and Irina were like, we should know sometime, or at least once in this lifetime, those people. It's like, thank you. I don't even know you, but thank you, because God put you and me and us in this program together somehow. So yeah, I'm grateful and thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, I think for myself, and I would express this on behalf of EMCC and World Partners, like it's been a joy to be in a little bit more conversation with Teo, but Yasmin, you and Irina were mentioned in many conversations I had with Teo, and so it was so great to get to know you both, to receive Joel in 2019, and for us to sort of continue working together. It's been a joy for us. And I think as you've shared, why are people who haven't met each other supporting each other in what God's calling them to? That's what it's like to be part of the global church. And so I think that Teo, your encouragement to our churches, we receive that. And I think on behalf of EMCC and World Partners, thank you for investing in relationship with us, and for not only doing these interviews, but having just some great conversations around what does it look like to serve God as you are serving with teenagers, but just more generally, to be able to share what it looks like to have your whole life reflect Jesus in your work and in your family life, and in the ways you've chosen to invest. So on behalf of us, like, thank you. It's been a joy to have this relationship, and believing that relationship will continue. And so as I say that, could both of you just sort of give maybe what you're willing to share, sort of what's next for both of you? Yasmin, you had mentioned sort of carrying on with Heroes in some capacity, and Teo, professional goals around social work and moving forward. So could you just give us a little bit of what's next for both of you?
Well, I'm still in the figuring out phase. Like I've started working on different individual projects, so to speak, like partnering with different organizations. Some of them are national, one of them is international, but I've been blessed to start working with the international one 3 years ago almost, and I'm continuing that. And regarding what's next as something more stable in a way, or more midterm, because I had to discover about myself that I'm not a long-term person. I kind of get involved in different things every 3, 4, 5 other years, depending on where I feel that God is calling me. So I don't have an answer about that. And that's one of my personal prayer requests, to see what's next in that department. Especially because I have some special requirements. Being a mom, it's important for me to invest these years more into my child and whatever is happening around home. So then I really want God to be able to use me outside of the home, but that just have to be on the second place somehow and in a part-time manner. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'm hopeful that God will take care of me and of our family. And he will certainly take care of what kind of ministry in a way I will be doing next. I'm certain that I will continue investing in people relationally, because that's changed a lot in my mindset in the past years. And I said at the beginning of this interview that I'm glad I was able to do a lot of that through Heroes and 360. And I will continue doing that, even investing in teenagers that come along my way, or be able to do things with 360 and Heroes, because I'm not moving from Craiova. I will be here. So I will be able to be part of some events or be part of some of the things that probably Iazmin will start building up, and we'll start doing them. And yeah, then relationally speaking, one of my biggest wishes is to continue to be in relationships with the ones that are grown-ups, and some of them I've studied are young adults. So maybe one of the things that I can do is to stay closer to them, continue to invest in those relationships, and if some of them, or if some new ones are coming alongside. So yeah, that's kind of where I am.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Iazmin.
Yeah, in order for Teo to come and help to some events or stuff, there must be someone who's trying to continue this project. So I'm willing to stay here and trying my best to keep continuing building another team, or trying to get more people, maybe having more impact in schools or even more schools, trying to be next to Craiova, the countrysides next to Craiova, because they're close to Craiova. That's my plan, working with teenagers and trying to do the same as we did in those at least 4 years while I was here. So that's my plan.
Fantastic. And Teo, you had mentioned a prayer request. Iazmin, do you have something that our churches and people who've been invested could pray for you as you move forward with carrying on?
Yeah, continue to pray for this program. It's something that must not die, you know. It changed me a lot, it changed Teo a lot, it changed the teenagers, it changed the people around, and the people who are involved and are involved in this program. So keep praying for this.
Fantastic.
If I can add something related to the 360 as a prayer request, I'm not officially and won't be officially part of what is going or continuing, but I will still have it on my heart and my mind. And I think that 360 and Heroes needs a lot of hope for the future, a lot of it, and also a lot of new people to come alongside and to join what's happening, and also a lot of new ideas. Something something a bit fresh, like not new in the way we do things, because we know that the core of it is relationships, building on relationships, but maybe how to start like from again this autumn. I don't think it will be possible to go in schools, or maybe we will start try in schools again like we had done in the previous years. That's so many unknowns. So hope, and then ideas, and then opportunities for sure. For Yasmin and the others, probably me as a volunteer from time to time, to be able to come alongside teenagers and go into schools or meet them wherever they will be.
Perfect. Yeah, we receive all of those requests, and those that are watching this would encourage you to continue to pray. And you can also follow 360 Craiova on Instagram. So feel free to do that if you want to sort of keep up with what's happening, and see what Yasmin and his team are up to as they continue to invest in youth. And so I think on behalf of the EMCC and World Partners, thank you guys so much for taking the time today, and for just sharing a bit about what this journey has been like. And it's been a pleasure to work together and have sort of this more formal partnership over the next 2 years, but trusting that the relationships that have been built can lead into mutual encouragement and potential connection in the future. So yeah, we're just wishing blessing on you, that the Holy Spirit would continue to give you his voice and his direction and whisper, and that you would just continue to feel that optimism and encouragement and perseverance, because like you said, investing in the next generation is clearly so important to you, and it's important to us, and to the churches that are watching. So thank you for being an example in that way.